of like a. I mean, you had outfitters, you had smugglers, run, enforcers. You had like what six things that could buff your hand, whereas there's only like a couple things that you can do that are kind of like you have glowstone technician. That's 6 mana. You have the arena fanatic. So yeah, seems okay. Those are like super late. Halazi, the Linux. Fill your hand with 5 mana, 3/2, so stats a little weak. Fill your hand with Linux that have rush. So this will probably be used in some type of mid-rangey type of hunter. The Linux, well, are going to be. I'm like 99% sure that they are going to be beasts. So we can pull some interesting scavenging hyena combo. That's like 10. That's whenever a friendly minion dies, or whenever a friendly beast dies, gain +2 attack. So it's potentially be pretty interesting. And those are probably gonna be 1/1. So all you have to do is like play like 5 or 6, and then boom, your opponent's gonna tank at least 12 damage, being how big your hyenas are. And plus you have Kraken raise them all. You gain Wind Fury, boom. So pretty interesting. I think that card will see play. It's just really expensive, to be quite honest. Dragon Roar. Add 2 random dragons to your hand. So like I said before, we've been seeing a little bit of dragons. And having this is pretty interesting. It's random. So, you could get Dustbreakers, you could get Ysera, you can get Deathwing. So, overall pretty interesting. I think we may see some type of Dragon Warrior. Like I said 100 times, back in the Grand Tournament, there was like a bunch of Dragon decks, like Dragon Priest, Dragon Warrior, and all that stuff, but we'll see. Like I said, needs a lot of help. So this is 1 mana warrior spell, Devastate. Deal 4 damage to a damaged minion. Overall, pretty okay. I mean, pretty decent board clear, especially if you're like need to be able to like whack. Like, say your opponent has like a Lich King and you can't really deal with it. You can pretty much like have some pretty interesting trades with it. So let's stay. Arcanine Phantasm. Okay. 2 mana, 3/2. Battle cry this turn, your healing effects deal damage instead. So we have Arcanine Soul Priest, which I guess is pretty decent in terms of like, you have like a circle of healing. It's pretty interesting board clear. But overall, okay. I think this will be used in some type of mid-rangey priest decks. I know there's like some aggro decks that you can play. You can even use that in like, because you really don't need just Arcanine Soul Priest to really make that combo work, because you can just use Phantasm to just like whack your opponent. Uh-oh. So the Grim Patron. It's back, boys. 5 mana, 3/3. Overkill, summon another Arena Patron. Overall, pretty okay. The stats are a little weak, though, because, especially like later stages in the game, your opponent's gonna play like bigger minions. Whereas, like a 3/3 isn't necessarily gonna kill. This card will need a lot of support. You have stuff like Steeds, plus you have Knights. Dino size, pretty okay in terms of. But it's just 5 mana, 3/3 is a little weaker. The only real reason, like, Grim Patron was a thing was because it would only have to take 1 damage for it to, like, reproduce. Whereas, this has to, like, kill something. But I guess it can be okay in terms of, like, you face, like, Baku Paladins, just, like, whack, whack, whack. But, I don't know. Like I said, this card will need a lot of help in order to do well. I know, like, Grim Patron was, like, PTSD, like, Monk S, all that trash, but we'll see how it goes. So, Arena Treasure Chest. 4 mana, 0/4. Death Rattle, draw 2 cards. So, the stats are a little weak, but, you know, there's a lot of, stuff that there's a lot of things that you can use to, like, buff this card. And then you get to draw 2 cards, which isn't necessarily the worst case scenario. I mean, drawing cards is pretty nice. It's just, if it was like 1 attack, it'd be okay. But 4 mana, 0/4, it's just, you would have to have a steed, or, it's just, you would have to have, like, Defender of Argus or something for it to really work. Booty Bay Buki, so this is probably a pirate. Oh, maybe not. 2 mana, 3/3. Valkyrie, give your opponent a coin. So, the stats are pretty nice, especially for a 2-drop. Give your opponent a coin can be a little bit scary, but it's just like later stages in the game, it's not too bad, but you know, those like early turns, like 1 mana crystal can make the total difference. You know, you have this on the field, and you know, your opponent has like, you're facing like a druid, and they have the ability to like nourish. Turn 2 you play this, and then turn 3 he kills it. He's at 4, then he gets a coin, turn 4, then he can nourish. Oh boy, that's pretty scary. Or intervene to nourish and then gain mana crystals. So, you know, high risk, high reward. You know, the stats are pretty nice. I mean, they're really good for a 2-drop, but, you know, giving your mana crystal, I mean, not a mana crystal. What I consider that is like, technically you do give your opponent mana crystal in terms of scenario, but I guess mana crystal would be like ramping, whereas this only gives your opponent just one coin, which, you know, high risk, high reward, so that's how it kind of works. Dozing Marksman. 2 mana, 0/4, right? Has 4 attack while damaged. Very interesting. This could be used in like some type of aggro decks. There's a lot of aggro decks, you know, and a lot of control decks, you know. If you can play around board clears and stuff like that, you can like get this thing to like maybe like a 4/3, which is pretty nice. You could have like a Defender of Argus. Pretty nice, and especially since, like I said, you know, 99% of the decks you face on ladder are like aggro tempo or token decks, so, you know, this can see some interesting play. You can run like Defender of Argus, you know, that becomes like a 1/5. I mean, that thing can get snowball out of control. Dark-Ride Trickster. Neutral, 3 mana, 3/4. Epic. Give each player a copy of a random card from their opponent's deck. So, has its ups and downs. You know, there's times where, you know, you could get like a Ultimate Infestation, and you know, there's times where you could get a gosh dang, I don't know, like a Mind Vision or something like that. So, you know, this card has potential to be okay. It's just, you know, like you're facing Baku Paladins, and you get like an upgrade or level up or whatever it's called, you know, give your, what is it, civilian recruits like 2/2 and taunt. You won't be able to use that, especially if you're playing like a warrior or like hunter or mage or something. So, you know, it has potential to be okay. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Former champ. 5 mana, 1/1. Valkyrie summon 5/5 hot shot. So, pretty interesting. I mean, 5 mana, 6/6 isn't necessarily the worst. I think it's overall pretty okay. It's just, you know, you can run this in like, I mean, I guess you could run this in like Baku decks, you know, like you can play like Baku Rogue. You can like cold blood this. This becomes a 5 mana of 10/6. So overall, pretty interesting stats. You know, you can do pretty decent value trade with this. Cold blood, you can trade a 5 drop or whatever you want with this. So, and then you get a 5/5 out of it. So it's not necessarily too bad. So, Grabashi Offering. So this is a 1 mana 0/2. At the start of your turn, destroy this and gain 8 armor. Okay, so pretty decent in terms of like early stages in the game. You can use this as like Beku Warrior. You know, 1 mana gain 8 armor is pretty interesting, especially if you know you go first or if you go second, like turn 1, your opponent might be able to deal with this. Especially since they might have a hero power, but you go first and you play this, you know, your opponent probably will not be able to kill this. So, overall, okay. I think it might see some play. It's just, the 2 health is pretty weak. If it had like 3 or 4 health, it would be pretty nice. Especially since it's not really like that threatening. Helpless Hatchling. One mana, 1/1, Death Rattle. Reduce the cost of a beast in your hand by 1. So, overall, pretty interesting. This could be used in, like, any type of hunter deck. Maybe Druid, I don't know. Like I said before, like, Druid has been getting a lot of beasts in this expansion, so. And, you know, you get to get Hadronox. It's just, you know, Hadronox is already 9 mana, so, you know, you have a naturalize, so you really don't need Hadronox to be lower unless if you really, really need it, but generally you'll have it by like, you'll have enough ramp by then, so. So, you know, interesting combos. You can use this in like, what I was mainly thinking of is like Death Rattle Hunter. You know, you can like get like a, let's say like a 7 mana King Crush, so you can hit your opponent. You can hit your opponent for what, 9? 8 or 9, and then hero power, so. Overall, okay. You can Carnivorous Cube that, get like Savannah High Mains cost down. Pretty interesting. Ice Cream Peddler! Ooh, now I want some ice cream. 4 mana, 3/5. Battlecry, if you control a frozen minion, gain 8 armor. It's just, there's not really much frozen stuff other tan you. Am I gonna do Frostbolt my old minion? Okay. But there really isn't much. But I guess, like, freezing your minion, you get 8 armor, pretty decent. I mean, 8 armor is, like, almost a third of your health, so it's pretty decent. I mean, it's not pretty decent, that's really good, but, you know, I guess there's what the Frost Rider, you know, you can play. Pretty interesting. I mean, it has potential to be okay. It's just, there's only so much you can do. Like, Mage is really the only class I can think that can actually freeze stuff. I'm sure there's some exceptions. I know Frost Rider's one. That's about it. That's like the only thing I could think of that can freeze. Regenerating Thug. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. I thought it was gonna be something like like the Thug 3 mana whenever your hero attacks game 1/1/1. 4 mana 3/5 neutral. At the start of your turn, restore 2 health to this minion. So overall pretty decent. Could be used in mid-rangey decks. You know, you can do some pretty decent value trades. You know, you can pull some interesting like bow mare combos. You can use steeds. You know, you can just like completely just busting up knights. And you know, you get to get 2 health back to this at the start of your turn. So overall, okay. You know, your opponent's gonna have to use some pretty big boy clears in order to deal with that. Ramble Tusk Shaker. We need to hurry up. I have like, what, 5 or 6 more cards. 4 mana 3/2, so stats are okay. That'll summon a 3/2 Rumble Test Breaker. So I imagine it's the same thing. 4 mana 6/4 is okay. It's just it's just like I feel like it'd be just more annoying for your opponent, which is I like cards like that. It's just your opponent plays a fire, you face Warlock or like Priest, and they Holy Nova fire, each double hockey stick fire, and pretty decent. Your opponent, you're still gonna have a 3/2 on board, which is nice. Okay, so Scarab Egg. 2 mana 0/2 Death Rattle. Summon 3/1/1 Scarabs. So, pretty interesting. I imagine the Scarabs are like spiders or beasts. So, you can run this in mid-rangey Hunter. You can just like I said, with the Linux, the Tigress Linux or whatever, the 5 mana 3/2 Hunter Legendary. You can pull some interesting combos off, especially with that. So, I mean, technically it's like a 2 mana 3/2, so it's more like I guess it has like it's like a 3/5, but it has to die in order to do well. So, Serpent Ward. 2 mana 0/2 neutral. At the end of your turn, deal 2 damage to enemy hero. Okay, so it has potential to be okay. Especially like early stages of the game. It can be bad and it can be good. Because you face even looks. You get to deal 2 damage to enemy hero, but you know what? That means they get to trigger Hook Reavers a little sooner. That's the only issue. But dealing 2 damage to the enemy hero, especially if you can like protect this, can pretty much devastate your hero. Kind of a shame that you can't use this in like Baku decks, but I guess if this was used in like a Baku Hunter, your opponent will probably be able to kill it. Shield Breaker. Okay, so 2 mana, 2/1. Battlecry, silence an enemy minion with taunt. So, whew. Yikes! Okay, rep paladins and taunt warriors. That's all I gotta say. I mean, overall, pretty okay. And this is a neutral, so we've been seeing some taunt decks. You've been seeing a little bit of taunt warrior. There's a lot of classes, especially that have taunts. There's like Lich King out there. There's Tyrion. There's so much potential. You have like, yeah, Paladin with Steeds. So, overall okay. Especially like, your opponent can like just sometimes just win the game off of just having a taunt. Your opponent has Corpse Takers. That can be really annoying, so has potential to be interesting. Spell Zerker. We have 3 more cards. It's gonna be a little bit longer, but I'm gonna try to go as quickly as I can. 2 mana, 2/3 neutral. Has spell damage plus 2 while damaged. So interesting. This could be used in some type of like tempo mages. Having the 2 spell damage is really nice, especially if you can get like a explosive trap or explosive runes out there. That's 8 damage. So your opponent's just going to completely get whacked. And then Fireballs, what, 8? Pyroblast is 12. So overall, pretty interesting. Frostbolt is 5. Really nice. Especially you can ping it too. Stolen Steel. 2 mana rogue spell. Discover weapon from another class. Overall, pretty interesting. It boils down to the fact there's some pretty sizable weapons and there's some pretty weak weapons. But I think overall, I think like maybe like 95% of the weapons are pretty good. I mean, like Fireworks, I don't know, it's kind of weak. I mean, it's good in terms of value, but and if you're playing like uh what's it called? You're playing like a steel priest. Don't you want to have your like spectral like cutlass or whatever it's called, the 4 mana? Was it like a 2/2 or 2/3 life steal whenever you gain 1 durability when you play like your opponent's class, or when you play a spell from another class, or when you play like a card from another class. I guess that's how it works. But yeah, I guess you can get Arcanite Reaper, like just whack your opponent. It seems okay. Wart Bringer. 1 mana, 2/1 Battle Cry. If you play 2 spells this turn, deal 2 damage. Okay, so overall okay. Can't use this really. It's just, I don't know. This card seems, I mean, for it being a 1 mana 2/1, it seems really weak. I mean, I guess 1 mana 2/1 is okay in terms of value. I mean, I guess you could say it's theoretically 1 mana for 1, but even then, like, this card needs a lot of stipulation in order to do well. Especially for 1 mana. If it was maybe like 5 damage, it would be nuts, but that'd be way too broken. But all I'm saying is it needs to be a little better in order to do well. If it was a 1 mana 2/2, it might see some play, but I mean, this dies to like a gosh dang, I don't know, to everything in this game. So I don't know. This card is okay. It's just the main decks we've been seeing are like Shutterwalk Shamans and token Shamans and even Shamans. Shutterwalk Shaman could see a little bit of play. It's just Battle Crime, you know. It's just, why would you want this when you could have like when you can have like other Shutterwalks, especially since the 2 damage could like go to your face. So I don't know. It just seems weak. But anyways, that's it for me. I know this is a little bit longer video, but that's all the cards from Rastakhan's Rumble. We have, I believe, like 5 days, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So 5 days till the next expansion. Pretty interesting. One thing before I go, all I want people to do is, I want, I might make another video later if people really want me to make it, but there's a special thing that I do in order to save up for expansions. But I know it'd be like a 30-second video, but I strongly recommend. I usually don't spend money in this game, but I can tell you, buying the pre-expansion is the best way to spend money in this game. I mean, I've been playing Hearthstone for a couple years, and I can tell you, I didn't spend a penny the first like year or 2 I played, and I can tell you, I was able to play free to play, and I was able to hit okay ranks. I think I was able to hit like rank 4 without like spending a penny on this game. So I mean, I still haven't Legend Omega LOL, but I can tell you, if you are ever to spend money on this game, pre-expansions are the way to go. I know you spend like what? You spend what, $49 for like 50 packs. So overall pretty nice, and you do get like a limited hero, which is King Rastakhan. I mean, I really wish they would bring back Toronto, but anyways, thank you so much for watching. I will probably play League most likely this weekend. I might do like a Thresh and Jin video. We'll see how it goes. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Well, the thing is, I have to go to a wedding this Saturday, so I might post the video a little later or early, depending how it goes. But like I said, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you enjoy Rumbling in Oh, that's not it. Hopefully you enjoy Rumbling in Rastakhan's Zandalarian Arena. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.